The recent behind-the-scenes footage of Joe Budden and QueenzFlip nearly coming to blows has sent shockwaves through the podcast world. Fans and critics alike are questioning the dynamic between the two as their heated argument threatens to overshadow their work together. For those who are familiar with Joe Budden's history, the tensions were not entirely unexpected. However, the level of intensity in the argument raised eyebrows and left many wondering what really went down. Was one of them completely in the wrong? Or is this just a case of two strong personalities clashing? Let's take a closer look. Joe Budden, the host of the popular Joe Budden Podcast, is no stranger to controversy. His outspoken, no-hold-barred approach has earned him both praise and criticism. Over the years, his podcast has evolved into one of the most listened-to shows in the industry, with a loyal following that appreciates his candidness. However, this same blunt attitude has often led to clashes, both on air and off air. Budden is known for his intense passion, whether he's discussing rap, personal issues, or his interactions with others. He doesn't shy away from speaking his mind, which often puts him at odds with those around him. QueenzFlip, a well-known figure in the podcasting world himself, is no stranger to drama either. He's built his brand around his unapologetic style and quick wit, and he's not one to back down from a challenge. The chemistry between the two hosts, both having their own dominant personalities, created a unique dynamic on the podcast. But this new footage suggests that the line between entertainment and personal conflict is becoming increasingly blurred. In the footage, which surfaced on social media, we see Joe Budden and QueenzFlip in a heated exchange. What starts as a discussion quickly escalates into an argument filled with raised voices, harsh words, and visible tension. It's clear that both men are deeply invested in whatever issue they're discussing. While the exact cause of the argument is not entirely clear, it's apparent that the situation is spiraling out of control. At one point, it seems like the disagreement could turn physical, but the situation is ultimately diffused before things get too far. However, the intensity of the moment left fans wondering whether this was just a minor hiccup or if it signaled deeper issues between the two. What exactly triggered the altercation? While the behind-the-scenes footage doesn't reveal every detail, it's likely that the cause lies in a mixture of personal and professional tensions. Joe Budden has been known to clash with his co-hosts and guests when it comes to handling differing opinions. He's a person who demands respect, and when that respect is challenged, his fiery temper often takes over. On the other hand, QueenzFlip's brash style and willingness to go toe-to-toe with anyone who questions him could have been a catalyst for the blow-up. His personality is often described as being on the edge, and that same boldness could have rubbed Budden the wrong way during the argument. Was Joe Budden in the wrong for getting so heated? Some would argue that he took things too far, considering the relationship they've built over time. As the host of the podcast, Budden has a responsibility to maintain control, even in heated discussions. Getting into a shouting match with a fellow podcaster, especially one who is a frequent collaborator, isn't exactly a good look. His willingness to engage in such a high-stakes argument could be seen as a sign of poor conflict management. Furthermore, his tendency to dominate conversations and impose his perspective could have created an environment where QueenzFlip felt cornered or disrespected, leading to the clash. However, it's also essential to consider QueenzFlip's role in this heated moment. Was he pushing Joe Budden's intentionally, or was he simply defending himself against what he saw as an unfair attack? There's no denying that QueenzFlip is known for his sharp tongue and unfiltered approach. He has a reputation for not backing down, even when things get tense. In this instance, he might have been expressing his own frustrations or challenging Joe's authority in the conversation. While he may not have been as outwardly aggressive as Joe, his willingness to stand his ground contributed to the escalation of the argument. At the heart of the situation, it's clear that both men have strong personalities and a deep sense of pride. Their egos are undoubtedly intertwined with their work, and when that is threatened, tensions run high. There's also the element of competition within the podcasting world. Both Joe Budden and QueenzFlip have their own brands, and they're used to being the ones in control. When two powerful forces like this collide, it's not surprising that sparks fly. However, while their personalities may have clashed, it's important to remember that behind the heated words and intense moments, both men share a mutual respect for the craft they've built. This situation isn't unique to Joe Budden or QueenzFlip. The world of podcasting and entertainment in general is full of intense personalities who often butt heads. Disagreements, clashes, and moments of tension are part of the game. It's how those situations are handled that defines the outcome. In this case, the behind-the-scenes footage was raw and unfiltered, giving fans a glimpse of what really goes on behind the polished, scripted podcasts they enjoy. But just because an argument happens doesn't mean it spells the end of their partnership or their individual careers. It's possible that the incident will serve as a wake-up call for both Joe Budden and QueenzFlip. The argument may be an indication that they need to reassess how they interact with each other and the boundaries that should exist in their professional relationship. If they truly value the work they've put into their podcasting careers, they'll find a way to move past the argument and continue collaborating, albeit with better communication and understanding. After all, the podcasting world is full of ups and downs, and what matters most is how they handle the aftermath. For now, fans are left to speculate about the future of their partnership. Will Joe Budden and QueenzFlip continue to work together, or will this argument be the catalyst for a split? The public nature of the dispute has only added fuel to the fire, and it remains to be seen how both men will handle the fallout. The key takeaway from this situation is that it's easy to mistake fiery passion for toxicity. While the argument between Joe Budden and QueenzFlip may have looked like an all-out brawl, it could simply be a case of two people who care deeply about their craft and have a hard time navigating the tensions that arise from their personalities. In the world of podcasting, where opinions are shared freely, sometimes the best content comes from those heated moments. Whether or not this particular disagreement leads to lasting damage to their relationship is yet to be seen. But one thing is for sure, the drama has only increased the intrigue surrounding both Joe Budden's podcast and QueenzFlip's brand. As fans continue to follow their every move, one can't help but wonder what will happen next in this ongoing saga.